All right, Graham. Well, it's great to see you. Thanks for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, thanks, Ken.
Yeah. So before we get started, why don't you tell me a bit about your backstory and how you got going on your real estate investment journey?
Sure. Well, my backstory, I guess, my background's in civil engineering, so done a lot of work in road bridge construction, and then also recently been getting into more private development work, so commercial plazas and subdivision developments and site plans and things like that. So um, doing that work kind of piqued my interest in what's this all about and what's the economics behind it. And our developer clients always seem to be sort of high roller types, and I got interested in this kind of lifestyle they had and the type of business they were doing, and said, well, if we're doing this as a client or as a service to them, why not take the next step and do it as a service for myself?
Right on. So were you when you came out of high school, was the intent always to go into civil engineering? Was that something you were particularly interested in, or
Mm.
did you get there through a different route?
My intent was to get into aerospace engineering.
Okay.
So the program I took, University of Toronto, was common first 2 years, and then you could branch out into. That was the only way to get into aerospace as an undergrad. But I had a really excellent first year civil intro to civil teacher who was just one of those inspiring people that said, talks about the great works that have been built that have endured by civil engineers, the great bridges and buildings and things like that, and just really inspired me to take a different path and take what they called at the time was an infrastructure uh, stream. So my second 2 years were civil rather than aerospace.
That's fascinating. So you almost went from being super interested in the air and flying to
Yeah,
being extremely grounded.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, they're both awe-inspiring to me. Like the engineering and just being able to account for the physical properties to build something amazing that can do amazing things is just breathtaking in a lot of ways.
It
Um,
is. It's amazing how you can, and the whole program was based on building from first principles. So you must understand, the fundamental, the rules of mathematics, and build upon those to get the equations that we use to build an airplane or a bridge or a building or whatever that
mhm.
is going to endure, and understand all the forces that interact upon it, and the understand the material properties and where do these formulas come from that are in these textbooks and in these codes.
Hmm.
So that it wasn't just here's where to find the information. It's this is how the information got into the books
Hmm. It's
approach.
something, the majority of people take for granted, right? Oh, I need to go travel halfway around the world. I'll just fly in an airplane. Oh, I
Sure,
need to
sure.
cross a giant lake. Oh, I'll just cross on this bridge. Just, you don't even, it doesn't even register other than, oh, I'm crossing a bridge. No, there's a
Yep,
lot that goes on behind the scenes. And you learn the tools on how to make those other tools work, which is
that's right.
really neat.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you diverted into civil engineering. So tell me how that program worked and how long you spent there and what happened after that.
Yeah, as I said, the first 2 years were common, and then we all branched off. So my discipline was civil, and it was a pretty small group. It was about nine of us were in the group that branched off into the civil part. So we had my mentor there. He was formerly ran a design office in New York City, and had just recently become a professor at the university. So he was very much focused on industry, but also very interested in sort of the elegance of engineering as well, right? That an engineering solution should be elegant, that it should be, pleasing to the eye and efficient in material use, and that
Hmm.
the best solution was also going to be the one that people were going to be the most pleased with having as well. So
Mhm.
it wasn't just about strict economics and making it work. Um,
More of a
so
holistic picture
a
on
holistic
engineering.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he was again another individual that really inspired me to do great things, and
Hmm.
I ended up staying on and doing my master's under him for another 2 years at University of Toronto.
Awesome. And then with your master's in hand, you went off to work for an engineering firm.
I
And
did
when did
for
Joule come into the picture?
so yeah, right out of university, I started with Joule Engineering. They were located in a little office in Rossmore, Ontario, in Prince Edward County, just down the road from where I grew up, and small, two owners, and at the time I think they still had 3 offices, so not super small, but not a big firm by any means. And and my first assignment was watching an excavator dig out a swamp for 2 months. So it was a bit of a change going from these complex, awe-inspiring projects that we're working on at school to well, here, just watch this excavator dig out the swamp for 2 months. So it was definitely a change of pace. But once I
Mhm.
got into things, got into a lot of contract administration work, which who knew that contracts could be so interesting. But the you know people don't understand what they've signed quite often, especially these big contracts, until the questions start coming up of shouldn't I get paid for this, or how am I supposed to do this, or who's responsible for that.
Mhm.
So I really gravitated towards that as well, and just managing the people in the process and solving the problems as they came up, and worked my way up to working on some much more interesting projects, some big bridge projects and bigger infrastructure projects
Mhm.
in the area.
Would you say that the appeal of what you're doing is in the problem solving?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Is
Yeah,
that the driver of what interests you and excites you?
yeah. I love solving problems, getting into it, and I guess taking that first principles approach again, right? Where there's a problem, you go back to what does it actually say in the contract? What does this contract language mean? And what did you actually agree to? And what's your responsibility? So
Hmm.
and also about building relationships between the owners and the contractors and everybody we work with.
Yeah. So now you've been working with Jewel for how many years?
I started in 2007, so um, it's that 14 years, something like that.
Quite some time. That's great.
13 years, yeah.
So now, so why make a pivot? Like, why change going into real estate development? I know you said that you had noticed a lot of your developer clients were kind of higher rollers, but what is the motivation to kind of pivot, I guess, and have a slight
Um,
change in approach?
I don't see it as a pivot as much as an evolution.
Hmm.
That it's we've it's, as I said, it's a lot of work we do already, right? We guide the developers through the development process. Typically, a team would be ourselves as the engineers and an architect,
Hmm.
and a planner, and each one of us would sort of be responsible for different phases, different aspects of the project, and then the developers, the other piece that brings the project and the capital, as well. So there's sort of four main drivers in the project, and we were one of them. But why not sort of evolve into taking on that project from a you know from a I guess a consultant role into a leader role.
To an ownership role.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that makes sense. So just gonna change the subject slightly here, but if you had to, what sort of challenges along your development and professional journey have you faced, and what kind of lessons have come out of that that now feed your approach and strategy today?
Um, Challenges. I mean, there's always day-to-day challenges, but the bigger ones, I guess everybody's having the challenge of good staff right now.
Hmm.
That's always tough is building a team and then maintaining it and keeping the engine running. Um, with new projects, it's always getting new projects and having the right people in the right place at the right time, and just that organizational complexity,
Hmm.
especially as it grows. That's a big challenge. But then more technical things, just dealing with complex projects, right? We had a $10 million development that headed to the owner doing their work, and we're working with the municipality and also with the province, who have road and infrastructure interests, on the roads and streets outside. And so having three contracts and three contractors going at the same time, one on top of the other, and trying to keep the schedules aligned and keep Ministry of Labor happy that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing on their own site, and
Hmm.
also doing it through COVID.
Hmm.
That was a big challenge, but
COVID certainly was a challenge for a lot of people.
yeah. I mean, escalating prices, price inflation, and having multi-year contracts, and contractors trying to renegotiate things and going back to what the actual clauses are in the contracts, with the force majeure clauses that we've never used before.
Hmm.
Which ones have pandemic in there, which ones don't, which almost none of them did at the time.
Yeah, well, the thing that struck me about the pandemic was everyone thought, oh, well, everything's going to get shut down, the economy's going to tank, but the opposite happened, right? Construction boomed. It
Yeah,
was deemed as an essential service, and there was nobody going into offices to work. There was nobody going into stores, so everyone was getting money from the government, so it just went into construction and
yeah, we were
getting
out of
these
the
projects
office
going.
for yeah, we were out of the office for maybe 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
and then right back to business as usual. And like you said, it just accelerated too.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of the challenges you face is more of a juggling act, almost. You got to juggle staff, you got to juggle project complexities, you got to juggle clients. Have you developed any strategies around doing that effectively?
A lot of it's about maintaining relationships and understand what motivates people, right? Is that keeping people on target, and just those regular checkups and check-ins, and and focusing on keeping the plan moving forward.
Right on. So let's talk a bit about your personal experience in real estate, because I know you do have some property that you hold and you manage. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a student residence in North Bay that I bought years ago, when real estate was easy, I guess, right? 5%
Mhm.
down for any house in Ontario. And it's been good. It's been, again, you learn the challenges of dealing with tenants, and the municipality, and maintenance and all that stuff, and also living remote from the site. It's about a 4-hour drive, so
It's kind of
um,
hard to be on boots on the ground.
it has been, yeah, yeah. So originally I managed it myself, but now I have a property manager that runs it. So again, the benefit of having a good team and good people that you can rely on to take care of things.
Right on. And so when you made that purchase, sorry, when did you buy that property again?
I would have bought that probably around 2010,
Okay.
something like that.
And
Yeah.
why did you decide to buy something that was so far away, I guess?
I
What was it that you said this is worth investing in?
I actually I had some friends who were getting into real estate around here, and kind of piqued my interest into the rental markets. And then I actually had a girlfriend who was going to school up there, and her friends were looking to move off of student housing, and get a place to rent. And they were having so much trouble finding something. I said, well, this must be a good market to try to get into, because
Hmm.
they couldn't find anything that was suitable. So
So when you were evaluating that market, the primary driver for you was high demand and low supply.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a common trait in our as real estate developers. That's what we kind of look
yeah,
for.
yeah, absolutely.
People need a place to live, but there's nowhere to live, so we come in and we build it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Would you say that's it- boiling down our strategy to a nutshell?
I would say so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, people need places to live, so you got to find out where they want to be.
Right on. So, what other key achievements or personal accomplishments do you do you want to share outside of real estate?
Um, Key achievements, personal. Mm, I mean, having a family now, that's to me, that's a big achievement. I know it happens every day, but it's certainly uh, changed my lifestyle and changed my perspective on life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you go from sort of that selfish mindset of bettering yourself and enriching yourself to what do I need to do for my family and making time for the family as well, right? That
That's right.
you know, valuing others more over yourself. That kind of philosophy, right? And not trying to just do well by myself, but to generate wealth and a good life for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that family aspect, it becomes a driver, you know, even when you're a single person and it's very much, oh, how do I accomplish something for myself and my life? But then as soon as you have a family, you realize, well, now my life encompasses other people
Yeah,
and they actually bring more value for me than anything else,
absolutely.
you know. But then you also still need that sense of purpose, and then you need to provide for them, and you need that to build, you know, a better life for those people as well.
Mhm, mhm.
That sounds like it's almost another juggling act.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right on. Um, so what aspects of your experiences, you know, your transformation from uh, um, a working professional to a family man to a business owner to a real estate developer, what aspects of this journey do you see as being unique that gives you kind of a competitive advantage?
Um, I think, certainly being a business owner, understanding the finance side of things and the just all those little things that go along with running a business, right? Having to deal with payroll and all those little things that really add up to a lot of time and effort and
Hmm.
knowledge, how to do that and how to actually read and understand your financial statements and forward planning, short, medium, and long term planning to make sure that everything keeps rolling smoothly, and then checking back on that to make sure that you are going according to plan.
Hmm. So it's what I'm hearing is that your experiences have created like a foundation upon which, you know, this foray into real estate development would actually become um, more advantageous. You know, you've got that baseline understanding of how to build a business, how to
Sure.
build complex civil works, and how to manage people and staff.
Yep.
Would you say that plays directly into the role as a real estate developer?
Oh, absolutely. It's about understanding the process to be successful, right? We certainly have clients, developer clients of all ranges of experience, and some are very hands-on, know every step of the process, very well managed, and tell you what they want, what they expect, and the timelines. And other ones come in with sort of deer in the headlights after they hit their first pre-consult. They didn't even know what that was to start with, and then they get this list of things they have to do. And I'd certainly rather be more like the former one that knows and understands the process, and we've been the ones to kind of take some of their hands and lead them through the ones that were novice ones. So
Mm.
um, it's just sort of a now we want to be the ones leading ourselves.
Well, so would you say that experience also plays into like a good reason why someone should be investing their money with you rather than trying to do the development themselves?
Yeah, ultimately that's what I think I bring to the table is that experience and of having been there and done it. And we've done it in multiple different municipalities and jurisdictions and um, multiple different types of developments. So rather than just a developer might have one or two projects on the go at a time, we'll have a dozen
Hmm.
on the go at a time that we're intimately involved with. So that experience kind of compounds too, as by being on the consultant side.
Awesome. Great. So what's the end goal for you, Graham? Like where does this journey take you and why why are you wanting to get there?
I mean, so I guess it comes back to that family aspect, right? I'm looking to build that wealth for my family and prosperity, and then and improve the communities we live in too, right? We see this desperate need for housing, and we're in a good position to take advantage of that to not only enrich ourselves but also enrich the communities we live in, and build better homes for people and have them happy to live here with us.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's a great sentiment and probably a great point to leave it. So thank you very much, Graham, for your time in this interview. I think it's great to understand your why and your process and your backstory as well.
Great. Thanks for
Awesome.